Hi, Jason. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. I'm very impressed by your general curated, kind of slightly minimalist layout behind you there. It's nice.
Jason, let me tell you, I'm in my bedroom. I have like Christmas socks on, tracky bums on. I literally
Doesn't
just put
matter. You've
my
got the
makeup
white
on.
thing going on. You've got just one small, discreet thing on the mantelpiece and a little flower. It's working well for you.
The carbon monoxide alarm is up there. Like, we haven't even put that
Oh,
up
can't see
anywhere,
it.
and you can see
Oh,
it.
1 second. Oh, yeah. Take it all back. Sorry.
I just noticed. Okay, well, do you know what? Thank you very much for complimenting my,
Pleasure.
ambience. I really appreciate that. Um, Jason, oh my goodness, this film. It is so nice to see Scooby-Doo and Shaggy and obviously Dick all back on the big screen, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have memories of watching Scooby-Doo when you
I
were
do.
or
About
like
100 years
Saturday
before you
morning?
were born, I used to go and run downstairs on Saturday and plonk myself on the sofa and not move for hours because it was all wall-to-wall cartoons. And in those days, you couldn't time shift, you couldn't record anything. And the Wacky Races one with Dick Dastardly and Muttley, and also Penelope Pitstop, who was my first crush.
Oh, was
And of course,
she?
yeah, oh my God, yes. And Scooby-Doo was on. And so all these hundreds of years later, for them to be making a movie, first of all, that Scooby still works. There's generations of people raised on him, and that they could reinvent Dick Dastardly to be such a 21st century character was just an embarrassment of riches. I was thrilled to be in it.
Now, listen, this is not the first villain you've played by any means. Obviously, Lucius Malfoy and Captain Hook come to mind. But is it more fun? Is it more fun to play these iconic baddies? Because someone like Dick Dastardly is an icon in kind of the cartoon world.
He is. I tell you what's fun to play is really well written parts. So I've played lots of heroes as well, and I've played all kinds of everything in between. And when you have a script where the character is interesting and doing something believable and/or entertaining along the way, you look better as an actor. So those parts that you mentioned, Lucy Malfoy and Peter Pan and the Patriot as well, I played a kind of iconic villain that
I
destroys
know, such a baddie.
America. Those are fabulously well written parts in really good stories, really well told by skilled people. So in this, Tony Savoni, who's the writer director, is just great at spinning all the plates, and he's been involved in the Scooby world for quite a long time. And Dick Dastardly, not only was he an iconic character from my childhood, but they reinvented him to be this much bigger. I mean, it's a movie, so everything had to be expanded and made bigger. He's physically bigger in this film. He's got a gigantic chest and shoulders, and he looks like he could snap all of Mystery Inc. The old Dick Dastardly was a terrible wimp. This guy is this kind of super power player, and he's a genius inventor as well.
He's
But
got it
mostly
all
what I
going
loved
on.
about him is how vain he is. He's so narcissistic and vain and preposterous and bombastic, and he's his own best audience. And all of that is covering up tremendous insecurity and kind of pathetic neediness. And all those things are, they grist the mill for an actor. That's a kind of 5-course banquet for an actor like me. And then the guy who's directing it, Tony, would get in the booth with me because the actors don't meet each other. You record by yourself. And he would just encourage me to go so far over the top. It felt beyond ludicrous to me. And then when I got there, he'd go, now we're getting started. And I can't pretend it wasn't anything other than enormously good fun.
That's great to hear because I was going to ask, were you sad to not actually be able to kind of grow and twist your own moustache? Because
No,
obviously, that would
one
have
of the
been
great
amazing.
things about doing sorry, I'm talking over you. One of the great things about doing voice work is you get cast of things you don't look like. First of all, I could never grow a moustache like that unless I was on a desert island for 100 years. And secondly, I hit that chest, that upper body, that chest and that shoulders. That's another 100 years in the gym eating only boiled eggs and ground chicken. So no, I love the fact that I can do voiceovers and play people that are not in my casting range. I just played Superman as well, and I was in Star Wars Rebels, and I've been a martial arts expert and an old Chinese lady, and I've done a whole bunch of stuff. And those are things that I wouldn't get the chance to do if it was on screen.
I was hoping you were going to say that you brought in a stick or moustache just to the recording studio that you could just twizzle a bit like this to get into.
He never actually twirls it. Oddly, he's
No,
got a fabulous moustache. He never does that because he does say drat, drat, and double drat, and many other things iconically, but he doesn't twirl the moustache. Maybe in the sequel.
did you enjoy saying Scooby Dooby Doo? There's a particular
I
scene.
enjoyed all of it. I particularly enjoyed the stuff
Where are
which is
you?
rich with double entendre. But yes, the Scooby Dooby Doo, Where Are You was not, I'm not even sure it was in the script. I can't remember what was and wasn't improvised because we'd start off in the script and they would just be in the booth for hours and hours going nuts, really, and having fun. And then it was 6 months apart or a year apart. Things like this take years to make. And they go away and animate, then they reanimate, then they reanimate. So I don't remember, but I do remember feeling like we'd sneaked that past. It didn't sound like the original theme song, but we'd sneaked it into the dialogue.
I clocked it. It was in the scene with, I think, all the mirrors.
Yes,
where
that's right.
Yeah, and I was like, yes!
I did the same thing in Star Trek. I was playing Captain's Starship in Star Trek Discovery, and we had a scene in which I managed to slip in "Make It So" #1, which is Patrick Stewart's favorite line as Picard, famous line rather, "Make it so #1." And I said, "Make it so #1, he doesn't do this, and #2, he doesn't do that." We kind of tweaked the dialogue so that we sneaked that in there. It's always a pleasure when you get an Easter egg like that.
Yeah, of course, you've become notorious for it, I'm sure. You mentioned obviously about the fact that when you are doing this, you're in the recording booth on your own. There are ensemble scenes, but you're not all together. Is it strange to be able to kind of do a release like this without a premiere? Because I guess with an animated movie, the opportunity for you as a cast to be together is either in junket or interview situations like this, but also to be on the red carpet and to have that kind of camaraderie that you've all completed this film, yet you don't have it on this occasion.
No, that's absolutely right. It's very perceptive. I'm incredibly grateful that for a billion things at the moment, for people in much worse circumstances, but in my own selfish little bubble, I'm a bit upset that I didn't get to meet them all, because we would have been on red carpets and publicizing around the world, and I don't know them. And now if I get in a lift with them, they won't go, "Hey, Jace, how are you?" I'll have to go, "Oh, hello. I was in a film with you once." I did it actually with Sean Connery. I was in Dragonheart, Dragonheart. And we went to the premiere, and he did the voice of the dragon, but he never turned up to shooting. He was in the Bahamas while we were in Slovakia. And I went up at the film and I went, "Oh, hello, Mr. Connery." Or beforehand, I went, I'm in the film. I played the king's sidekick." He went, "Oh, do you? I'm sure you had fun." With his brother. And the same thing will happen if I'm in a lift with Mark Wahlberg, I'm sure, or any of the others from this. But there you go. I mean, there are worse things than not being able to publicize films on red carpets.
Yeah, of course. I just think it must be such a funny, because it's part of all of the entire thing, isn't it? So
it is weird that you don't meet people when you do animation until you. I was in a Pixar film, and I was in it with Michael Caine, and in fact, I did the junket, and people said, "What was Michael Caine like?" I went, "I don't know. I'm meeting him tonight. I have no idea."
I know. I think it's funny when people ask those questions. I think, it's you don't see them when you're in. It's quite an isolating.
It's true. Well, even in things like, even when you are on screen, things like Harry Potter or Game of Thrones, they're with huge casts, you very often don't meet any of the other people because you're not on set on the same day. In fact, Game of Thrones, they're in different countries. So they can spend months and months and not meet each other at all, except when they're publicizing.
So, Jason, there are a couple of instances in this film where there is either motivational tracks, I think at the beginning with Shaggy, and also Blue Falcon has his own entrance track. Do you have a motivational track or entrance track? I'm going to use lightly because I don't imagine.
Sorry, in my own life.
Yes, in your own life.
Were I to enter an arena?
Woo!
I'm trying to imagine in what context I will be entering an arena.
Motivation.
I certainly won't be boxing anywhere.
A motivational one.
Here's what I generally like to do. I can't pretend that there isn't some part of me that probably likes attention. It must be the case, I suppose, because I ended up being an actor. But generally, when someone is introducing me on the stage, when I've gone to conventions or whatever, and there's thousands of people and they're screaming your name out, I try and walk in from the back quietly and just suddenly appear, or stand behind the presenter. They're looking to one side of the stage. I come on from the other wings. I'd rather sneak in than come into, Eye of the Tiger. It's just, I'm just more comfortable that way. I'd rather not have the attention on some level. And I'm sure everybody who knows me goes, "We're going, get off your bike." But that's what it feels like from my side anyway.
I love it. That's really funny. Well, that's a great way to make an entrance. So, can I ask about all of the different Scooby-Doo props you've got behind you? Because
all the merch.
The merch.
Yeah,
so that must be a cool.
It's great stuff for radio, isn't it?
Yeah.
They sent me, God bless them, Warner Brothers. They sent me stuff. They said, "Would you like any stuff?" And sent me a little list. And I went, "Yeah. Why do I have to tick things? Can't I just have all of it?" They went, "Yeah." So I've got all of it. I've got a cooler. And I've got I've got models of me rather fabulously. There's a Dick Dastardly action figure.
Oh, that's the kind of thing you need to put in your downstairs loo.
Yes, that's right. I've got. Well, no, there's no signs. They'll be gone from the house or in the attic. There's no signs in this house that I'm an actor. No one will.
Oh, okay.
There's Scooby-Doo mugs, as you can see here. What else have I got? I've got the
Your
Scooby
kids
snacks.
must love it. The fact that you
I've
get all
got
this stuff, and that you've.
my kids are 18 and 14. They do
I
not
know they
love
are. Yeah.
anything about me or anything associated with me or even the fact of my existence right now. That's their hormonal imperative. But there's a bunch of stuff which I will be giving away to charity and signing. I'm always asked for things for charity auctions, and I will be signing and giving away. And so thank you, Warner Brothers, and thank you anyone who bids for any of this stuff.
Well, Jason, thank you for speaking to me today, and congrats again on being an awesome villain. Because
thanks very much. I hope people enjoy 2 hours out from 2020, or an hour and 31 minutes out, and lose themselves in Scooby Land for a while.
Yeah, I fear this year is not done, so it's nice to have two hours where we can just escape.
Absolutely.